Hello and welcome back to the Crafty Cauldron. I am JoBeth Sexton and today I have a craft tutorial, and this one is based on some of the items I have received from BB Crafts. bbcrafts.com is a really great website. They have all kinds of craft supplies, including jewelry making supplies, paper crafting, sewing, all kinds of stuff. Prices aren't bad either. Aren't bad. And shipping, even if they're shipping from China, is still pretty quick. So give them a look, give them a try. If you sign up for their email list, they give you a little coupon code too. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to make tassels. And I have several different things to make these tassels with from BB Crafts. I have some large and small tassel, pre-made tassels, but they're just going to be adornments on my larger tassels, and that's the tutorial how I make tassels. First of all, this is just one version of them. Sometimes I don't do it this way, but these are really cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a bail, and this is the type of bail. It has a ring at the top and they come in different colors. There's brass, silver, gold, antique silver. There's two kinds. There's oops, that's not what I wanted. There's shiny silver and then there's antique silver. So there's two different kinds right there. See? And let's see, I think there's gunmetal. So there's those few. Those different colors. It's pretty good variety if you ask me. And they come in this little box here like this, that makes it really convenient. A nice little holder. I am making this tassel for well, there's that. I am making this tassel for a journal that I'm making, so I'm going to use an antique. Actually, I think I'm going to use gunmetal. Going to use the gunmetal. Now, what I do on these is I do it alternately. We'll get into that, but these have a ring at the top for a bail, for a jump ring, so you can hang them with. This is the bottom part, or you can put them on the other way and hang something from that little ring right there, and then you use this part for to attach to, wrap a chain around it or whatever you want to do, and then attach that to your journal. So I will show you the way that I do it. It's not going to take very long. So let's see here. Okay. First of all, you want to figure out how long you want your tassel to be. My book, the one that I'm building, is 9 inches tall. So you have to keep in mind that when you're making one of these tassels, the bail and the ring at the top, and then the little gather where you're going to tie them all together is going to take up roughly an inch and a quarter, somewhere around there. So you kind of want to subtract that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make. You can also alternately, you can just make it 9 inches. You can make your tail 9 inches long, and then that way you can just trim it up. Hold on just 1 second. There we go. That's what I'm looking for right there. My little glare-proof thing, so you can see better. Okay. So, and I've got my glass mat here, and this one has a little measurer here. It's got a little ruler on the bottom. So I think I'm going to go 8, and then I'm going to double that. So it's going to be roughly 16 inches long. And then trim. And you want to trim it at an angle. And the reason why that is because it kind of helps keep it from fraying so much. This is another one of the items I got from BB Craft. It's black organza ribbon. It's very nice. It's sturdy. It's well made. It comes in a package, a huge package, like this. And this is just from this package. Here is the number for the ribbon. See if I can get you to focus here. There we go. You can take a screenshot of that. That is the number, the inventory number, order number for that product. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to just trim a bunch of fabrics. I have this shredded bedcloth. This is a bed sheet, and yes, it's been laundered, and it's got some paint stains on it because I used to use it as a drop cloth, but I love the color of it. It also matches the project, the journal that I'm making. So I'm just going to lay these down and kind of roughly snip them where I want the length to be. I've also got some eyelash trim. So we've got an eyelash trim here. I think I'm going to make 2. I like this stuff. This stuff is pretty neat. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to trim that. I'll trim it later because it's just about the right length. Then we have this. This is another product from bbcrafts.com, and it is red satin ribbon. I had this on my wish list, and because I knew that I wanted to get it, but I couldn't do that at the time. Whoops. So I just stuck it on a wish list and left it there. But this comes in a spool as well. I can't find it. But if you look up 1/4 inch red satin ribbon, or just ribbon, it's in that section on bbcrafts.com. And I think I'm just going to need 1 length of that. Again, trim at an angle. And then let's put that over here. And then I also have some, I thought I dropped something. I also have some ribbon here. This is from my stash, and this is from the thrift store. I found a bag full of really great Halloween ribbon, and this was a solid black, and I like the solid black. And it's very narrow, so it's a really good thing to use in something like this. I think I'm going to get 2 lengths of that. And remember, we're doubling this. We're not just going to use this as it is that long. That's too long. But there's that. Then there's this. This is another piece of a lace from BB Craft, and it comes in a package. Here is the package for the red ribbon, and the number, if you would like to order some, is right there. There we go. And the larger ribbon, lace, it comes on a spool like this, and I don't have the packaging for it anymore, but if you look up lace, you can find it's in a 2-pack. It's a spool of black and a spool of white, and they're 6 inches wide. These are great for all kinds of things. I also use this when I'm making my lace covered envelopes, and I have a tutorial in my playlist for that. So this is what we're going to use. One more thing, because part of my colors on the journal will include purple. So I'm going to use this. And this is a lighter colored purple. It's what I have. Use what you got, right? Okay, that's really sticky on the end because I don't even know how old this ribbon is. Another thrift store find. One day I went in there and there were like 5 grab bags full of ribbon and lace. I was delighted. My husband was not. Okay, and there's that. And you can tell I don't have a lot of room because I keep dropping things. Okay. So, the way that I do this is I will get myself a relatively long, very skinny needle with a sharp point, and some upholstery thread. Not a lot, but you do need at least like 8 to 12 inches, depending on how, you know, how you like to, how easy it is for you to handle stuff like this. For me, it's relatively easy. On a good day, today is not a bad day, so yay! So what we're going to do is we're going to knot the end and put a couple of knots in there. We're not going to be sewing anything together. This is just a shortcut to get it through the loop, the bail. So what we've got is, let's put this one on first, and the reason why we're putting this one on first is because it's more a solid piece of fabric. There's that one. Then let's do some lace. Eyelash trim. Hopefully this will work. I've never done this with the eyelash trim before, but there is a little tiny skinny border here. And if I can get my needle through there, we'll have it made. As long as I don't have to pull too hard. Okay. Come on. There we go. And the narrow black ribbon. Oh, came right out of my needle. Huh. Typical of me. Sorry about that, guys. So we've got that. Put that back there. And let's just thread that through. Here we go. So basically you're just creating like this. It's actually just so we can get it through the bail. There's that. And then the bed sheet. And let's see, more organza ribbon. The satin purplish color. May not look purple to you on the oh, look at that. I just put that through both ends. How interesting. So I just take the needle off the thread and we shall take that out and start over because we don't need to put both ends through. That would be like counterproductive. So re-thread the needle. Okay. And then we'll put this through the end of this ribbon. This ribbon. And the eyelash trim. Which is mildly fiddly, as they say. Okay. Then you just put this through here. And it should be relatively easy. Sometimes it gets a little difficult. You have to kind of maneuver it a little. But once you get it going, it goes right through. You just put the needle through that. And then you have, basically you have your tassel going on here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the needle off the thread and then pull it back out backwards. So now you have this cute little tassel. Now this one is pretty, this one isn't as fluffy as I like them usually, but for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to leave it like that. If I wanted to, I could totally just, like I could string up a couple more pieces of ribbon, and I think I will. Let's see, let's do a black one. Let's do another bed sheet length thing because it's cool looking. All those frayed edges, it's just really neat. I think anyway. And then let's do another length of this organza from bbcraft.com. And if I can get the tape off my finger, I'll be fine. So it's going to be like this. So let's just rethread the needle. We should be able to, I don't think this is too much to go through the bail, but we'll see what happens, right? I say that a lot. Ask my husband. Well, see what happens, especially when I'm working with my computer. Oh, let's go through the more solid fabric first, and then the sheer, and then because if you go through the sheer, the knot won't hold. It'll just slip right through the threads, through the fibers in the ribbon. So let's see if we can get this to go through here. Go through there. And I'm gonna kind of maneuver it a little bit. And I say use upholstery thread because this is why. Because, and that needle didn't, the thread ripped right through it. Because if you use a thinner thread, the potential for it to break is greater. So that's why I like to use the upholstery thread. That's also why I don't use a huge piece, because you don't really want to waste it. Oh, for heaven's sake, where's my thread? And I lost my thread. Yep, it's round, but all of my clothes are black, so finding it's going to be like a needle in a haystack. So I'm just going to get a little bit more thread here. See, nobody's perfect. Everybody screws up sometimes. But it's not a true screw up. It's just a minor setback. So we'll just tie that knot there. And let's just try this. Let's just go these two first. And I think that's probably going to fall through the ribbon again. I think I got it too close to the other hole. Oh, I got it. I kind of want to make it a little more even. And then this one, probably double it like that. I just, see if you can see, I just kind of doubled it. And then we're going to pull that through if it'll go through. And I don't want to pull it if it's going to take too much pull, because it'll just tear through. The bed sheet is not that sturdy. It's really old. I've had it for 20 years. The bed sheet, I was actually using it. Yeah, see, it went right through. There we go. So now we just take the needle out of the thread and pull the thread out backwards. And that's a little more like what I like to, a little more fluffy. So what we want to do now is you kind of want to arrange your textiles in here so that they look like a variety and not everything is, not everything is the same color, and that you've got things pulled through as much as you want them to be pulled through. So you kind of want to hold it from this and then see how even or crooked it is. And right now I need to adjust that a little bit. And let's see, this one looks a little short. Is this the right one? Let's see. And you got to kind of jockey it, kind of get it to go through and all that. And this is probably, let's go that way. It should be loose enough inside that little bail to move around, so you can adjust it like that. Otherwise, you're going to have a heck of a time, and when you start pulling on ends, the whole thing is going to move instead of just that one piece. So you kind of want to give it, make sure that it's not super, super tight through here. And it'll just look better that way. So we got this. Now, here's where you decide which way you want to do this. Do you want to hang it from the journal, from the spine, using the jump ring? and put it through a loop? Or do you want to put it the other way around like this? And since we didn't do it too tight, you can hang something, a dangle from this, and put a chain or another loop. Oh, so sorry, that's my phone. I forgot to mute it. I actually forgot to mute everything. Okay, or you can put it like this so you can hang a dangly bead or something from this, and then stick a chain or another piece of string or wire even through this top, and then hang it from that like this. So that's what you kind of want to decide. Now, since I've got tassels and I want to use my tassels, I'm going to hang it like this. So what I want to do before I do anything else is figure out how I want to hang that. And I think I'm going to use a bit of chain. And this is just a really narrow chain, but I'm not sure that it'll fit. A lot of the time it's better to get a necklace chain, an old jewelry chain, and use that instead of something. Now this is something I bought on a spool from Hobby Lobby, and of course it was on a 50% off sale. I can't remember. I never buy anything full price. It's just ridiculous most of the time. So wait a minute. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put that chain, I put the thread through a link in the chain, and the end link of the chain, and I'm going to thread the needle, and then I'm going to tie a knot with both strings, both ends of the thread, like this, so it won't come off, hopefully. And then I'm going to okay, so you can see, is it focused? Okay, bifocals suck, people, I'm telling you. So the needle's going to go through the top of that, and then when you get to the chain, it's going to be a little bit, you're going to have to pull a little bit more, which is why we doubled that knot. Okay, so you're going to pull that chain through until you've got enough to play with here. Then snip that thread so you can take it off the chain. Sorry about that noise, that was really loud and I apologize. Okay, then you'll need some kind of a wire cutter, snipper type of thing. I don't want my chain that long, so I'm going to pull it back a little bit. This may increase your length of your tassel as well, so keep that in mind. But you also want enough to play with, so you're going to have to figure out how, where to cut your chain. And all you're going to do is just snip through a link and then pull, and it'll just separate like that. But I'm going to need a jump ring. And we're going to have to figure out how long the chain is going to need to be. Now, you can always make it short and then leave a tail hanging on the chain. So you can, put it together so that this link is attached down here somewhere. So you've got this tail. But that's something that you need to decide. You can hold it up next to your book and say, do I want it that long? Is it too long? Etc. I personally, I'm going to shorten my chain, and I think what I'll do is find my needle nose pliers and my ring, and I'm going to attach the chain together. So I've got the ring through a loop, through a link in the chain, and then I'm going to put it through the end link of the chain. And then ideally I should be able to, I should be using a second pair of pliers, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to need it. Some of the links are very heavy duty. This one is one of those. It's a larger gauge. So you want to shut that so that it looks like this. get that to focus there. I have no idea why it's not focusing. Okay, so you can kind of see where it's going from here. And then this end here is the end where I'm going to attach. I can either attach this to a ring through the binding, through the spine of the book, or or anywhere else. If you want to put it on the front and hang it from the front corner, you can do that too. But, and then I'm going to leave this little tail hanging so I have another place that I can hang something from. So I'm going to leave that hanging like that. That's going to be my top where that jump ring is. And then this little ring down here is going to be where I hang my tassel from. So I'm going to put my tassel on now before I gather that up. Now you don't have to gather this up, and you don't have to make a head for the tassel, for this bigger tassel. You don't have to do that. You can leave it fluffy just like that. If that's the way that you want it, do it that way. That's all I gotta say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these bigger tassels. This is another item from bbcrafts.com. These are so cool. Look at, they come in this little box. There's some static in there. And I think because of my color scheme, I can use black, I can use dark purple, or I can use this maroon color. And I really like that one. And these aren't overly big. I mean, some of them are bigger. There's two different sizes. There's this size that's really long with a sparkly band around the top, and then there's this size that isn't so long, and it's just wrapped in thread around the top. And I like them both, but for this project, I'm going to use the understated tassel without the shiny stuff on it, which kind of goes along with my gunmetal bail. And that, by the way, the bail that I'm speaking of for jewelry making is spelled B-A-I-L. B-A-I-L. And I can't get this thing. There we go. Holy moly. B-A-I-L. Bail. Not B-A-L-E. That's like a hay bale. Different kind of bail. So what I'm going to do is I can do this two different ways. I can hook it up with a jump ring, or I can try to get it through here, which I may need to do with my needle and thread again, which is really kind of useful if you think about it. I mean, who thought, right? I don't sew, but I can use a needle and thread for other things, right? Oh my goodness. So what I'm going to do again is, where is my tassel? I'm going to tie this around the tassel string. Let me move this here. So I'm going to tie this around the tassel string and knot it at the end with both strings, with both threads. Both thread ends. I guess that's more accurate. So it is not coming off of there. And I'm going to just pull the end See, I've got the needle through that hole. I'm just going to pull it through that, if it'll come through. And if it won't, we'll try it the other way. This I was thinking of doing and making a lark's head knot. There we go. So we've got that through. We're going to clip the needle off and pull the rest of this tassel through the loop that is now through the bail hole, bail loop, which will probably hold on better than a jump ring because it's just part of the construction of the tassel. So now we have, and the reason why I wanted to wait is because this way I can situate that tassel to hang where I want it to hang. If I want it on the outside, I can put it on the outside. If I want it to be buried a little bit on the inside, I can do that as well, or instead. So we're going to do that. Kind of situate these strings here and make sure that everything is hanging where we want it to hang. I don't want anything extremely too short or too long. And I'm going to put this needle away real quick before I lose it and my cat eats it for me, because she's been known to eat really weird stuff. And a needle, oh, let's just put it this way. We can't afford surgery. So there we go. So now you have this lovely bail, gunmetal bail. Oh, come on, focus for me. Come on, little camera. I think it's focusing on the writing on that needle case over there. So we've got the bail and the chain, and then we've got a tassel inside of our tassel. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather this, and I'm going to make the pre-made tassel on the outside. But I'm going to situate these a little bit better here, so they kind of, it shows a little bit more color. So let's pull that purple one out and the red one. Let's pull that one out and grasp this at the top and make sure that our tassel is where we want it, because if you tie it in, if you tie it and the tassel isn't where you want it, you're gonna have to undo it to get it to where you want it. It's just, that's the way it is. So let's see here. Let's make sure. Okay, there's that one. And then there's, yep, that's that one. And I think I like that. I think I like that the way that it is. Kind of showing some color. Okay, so you kind of want to hold the pre-made tassel out away from the rest of the tassel until you get that grip on there. And what I'm going to use to wrap this is I'm going to use some really rough hemp. And this I got from, I don't even know what the company's called. It was a mail order place. I got like a lot of hemp. Many balls of hemp. And it was a long time ago, so I don't remember where it was from, but you can find hemp at Michael's and Walmart and Hobby Lobby and such as that. So let's just make sure we've got all of our colors out where we want them. Once more, because when you play with it, they kind of settle. They kind of settle where they're going to settle, and that sometimes isn't where you want it to settle. Okay, so make sure that our chain, my chain, meaning my chain, is up at the top. And the way that I do this is I just kind of wrap it around my finger so it has a place to, I have a place to hold on. And then I take this tail and I wrap it a few times. Look how the eyelash trim is just sticking up like wild eyelashes. That's so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it doesn't need to be really super tight, but it doesn't need to be tight enough that it's not going to shift. So you kind of want to give it a good pull and another good pull. And if you're really worried about it, you can always stick some Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1, something that will glue fabric. Even glitter glue, art glitter glue will work. Something that will glue fabric. Inside the twists, you want to make sure that it gets in there and kind of saturates a little bit, because that way it will glue more than one layer down. Okay, so now that we've got it wrapped around a little bit, grab both tails, hold your knot, grab both tails and give it another good snug pull like this. Before you tie it though, you want to make sure everything's hanging where you want it to hang. So we've got tassel, ribbon, textile, eyelash trim, This purple one needs to be out. I want that purple one out. At least one end of it. So I'm just going to twist that up near the top. So then we have that. Okay? Now is the fun part. You just want to pull that knot tight. And it might be a little more difficult than for others. If you have problems with your hands, you might need a little stand to put it on, like one of those that they use to make fly fishing lures, something like that, with the magnifying glass and the little clamps. But once you have that first knot, then you want to tie another knot, so it's a square knot, and then you go back around and do it again. So you've got this wonderful, sturdy, doubled closure thing going on. And another knot right there on top of that one. Okay, now these tails, because they're hemp and they're sturdy, they're really good for hanging stuff from. So I'm going to leave mine there because I'm not sure what I'm going to hang from that, if I'm going to, and if I decide not to, I can always trim it up later. I can always trim it later, which is one of the great things about junk journals. You don't have to do everything right now. You can wait and see what happens. So make sure that everything is hanging where you want it to hang. You've got your tassel on the outside, your pre-made tassels on the outside. Now my purple ribbon ducked back inside of the organza ribbon right there, but you can still see it. I'm okay with that. Sometimes they go where they want to go. You can still see it because there's a lot of sheer. But there you go. There is the way that I make some of my tassels. And there you are. But bbcrafts.com, you guys, it's a great place to find supplies, all kinds of things. I'm just going to hold this up so you can kind of see what happens. And there's our tassel. I'm not going to trim the ends yet because, like I said, I'm not sure that I want to do that. Maybe I want to leave it rough and, you know, tangly. There's our tassel, pre-made tassel. Really nice, shiny little piece of embellishment. And the great thing about this is, because it's made with metal pieces, metal parts, it's not going anywhere. It is not going anywhere. This is made. It's done. So there you have it. A tassel, the way that I make them. And there's dozens of ways to make tassels. This is not the only way to make tassels. Experiment. Discover. Explore. Have fun. Okay. So that's all I got for you right now. I am going to sign off and say peace, love, oops, crooked, love. And remember, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Make it a happy, crafty, and colorful one, and I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.